and they have truly no conception of what's actually going on, because I feel like if they did, in their own self-interest, they would be acting differently. And a lot of people say, why hasn't a revolution happened? And it's kind of like saying, why isn't the water boiling yet? And the water is 190 degrees.
Lolo, I hear you. I've had this video on repeat in my head since you made it. And I have to ask, when has that ever happened? When have they ever done the right thing? I keep thinking about Louis XIV. And there's this myth that liberalism tells us if we just vote again, this time it'll be different. If we just articulate the perfect argument, we could convince Louis XIV to climb down from his throne and do the right thing by the people. But the reality is that the thing he became was so twisted by the world that produced him that the only way he was climbing down from that throne was with his head in a fucking basket. There's this really great movie from 2006 called Marie Antoinette, about Marie Antoinette and Louis. And in the movie, you see them partying and partying while the revolution is getting started. And there's party music, party lighting, party all the time. And suddenly, the lighting changes and the music stops. And instead of hearing the party, you can hear for the first time the crowd outside screaming for their heads. And they look at each other like, what do we do? They could not conceive of any other way of being in the world than what they had always been. And they just kept doing what they had always done. There's this scene with them eating dinner, staring at each other, and all you can hear is this deafening sound of screaming outside. And they just tried to ignore it. That story could have only ended one way. There is no argument they could have changed them. There is no amount of voting. There is no amount of liberalism. They could have fixed the thing that they became. And the more that I think about it, the more examples I think of how this kind of story can only end one way.